This video goes over the Unit 5 linear quiz. Your first task is to find the equation from this table. So what we do is we look at the change in y divided by the change in x. So if you pay attention to these patterns, it's plus 9 for the y's and plus 1 for the x's. So that's going to be plus 9 and plus 1, and our slope is going to be 9. To find our y-intercept, we're going to look when x is 0, what is y? And that's right here. That's going to be 3. So we put these two together into our equation, y equals mx plus b. We replace m with 9, our slope, and we replace b with 3, our intercept. Similar thing for this next one. What's the pattern? Plus 8. What's the pattern? Plus 1. So that's our slope. If we look at our intercept, that's when x is 0, what is y? That's going to be 6. So we write 8x plus 6. So there's two things we want to find from this graph, the slope and the intercept. For the slope, it depends if it's a positive slope or a negative slope. That is, as we go from left to right, are we going up, like this one, or are we going down? Since this is a positive slope, we're going to look at some of these points, like these tiny blue points, and figure out how many we're going up and how many we're going right. Here we're going up 1 and right 4. So my slope is going to be 1/4. For the y-intercept, we're looking at where the line crosses the y-axis. Not the x-axis, not this one, but the y-axis. And here that's at -2. If I put this together into an equation, I have y is equal to 1/4 x minus 2. A quick test to see if I did it right. Is the line going up 1, right 4? Yes. Did I start here at -2? This one also has a positive slope. We go up and to the right because of that. So our slope is going to be 1/2. And I cross the y-axis here at 4. So I turn this into an equation like this. The key idea is how much did I go up divided by how much did I go right. These had two parts. First you had to fill in the table and then write an equation. So at 0 minutes we are charged $6 and we're increasing each time by 60 cents like this. That means one of these is my slope and one of them is my intercept. We look for keywords like initial charge, that's going to be your y-intercept, your starting value or your initial charge. And then the ones that are recurring costs, they happen every minute. That's going to be your slope. If we put that together into an equation, we have y is equal to, oh, it's not y, is it? They tell you which letters to use. C is equal 0.6 times t plus 6. We start off with $50. That's the guaranteed part. That's your intercept. It increases by $1.25 each time. So these are the rest of the values. To write my equation, I'm going to say P is equal to 1.25x plus 50. Notice it's always the when x is 0, what is y, that is our y-intercept. And it's how much we're increasing by, plus 1.25 each time, that goes over here in our slope spot. For a vertical line, notice it crosses the x-axis, and it crosses it at 4. You put those two things together, you get x equals 4. This line crosses the y-axis, and it crosses it at -3, so we write y is equal to -3. There's a couple different ways to find the slope given points. The way we covered in class was to create a table. Write 2, -3, and -2, -7. And we are looking at what is the pattern. How much are we increasing or decreasing? You'll notice that the y's, we subtract 4. And for the x's, we also subtract 4. So my change in y over change in x looks like this. On top is the change in y. On bottom is the change in x. And this simplifies just to 1. You could graph this. You could use the classic slope formula. which says that for any 2 points, 2, -3, we call that x1, comma y1. And -2, -7, we'll call that x2, y2. You can do y2 minus y1 all over x2 minus x1. Or in this case, that's -7 minus 3, or excuse me, -7 minus a -3, and then -2 minus 2. Now, this is the way I learned it 20 years ago. I think the table kind of helps you avoid some of those mistakes. For example, with these two minuses, they turn into a plus. You end up with the same thing. You could also graph them and look at the slope that way. The answer was 1. Let's make our xy table. We have 0 and 6, 4 and 2. Keep in mind that we are going from the first coordinate to the second, so this is actually -4. Some of you wrote +4. This side is +4. If we look at change in y over change in x, we're at -4 divided by 4, which is -1. To graph these lines, start with the y-intercept, and it goes on the y-axis. So down here at -4, put a dot. Since my slope is -3, that means down 3 and right 1. So from that point, I go down 3, right 1, put a second dot, and draw my line. Notice if my slope is negative, my line should be going down from left to right like this. I start with my y-intercept. It's at 4, so I put a dot at 4. I always start here on the y-axis. From that dot, I'm going to count up 1 and right 3. Draw my line. Notice I have a positive slope, so I should be going up. Same thing, except they don't tell me which is which. Here, 4 is the slope, and -1 is the y-intercept. That's y equals mx plus b. So I start with -1, put a dot. I go up 4, right 1, put a second dot. There's my line. This one, my slope is 6, and my y-intercept is -1. I start there at -1, I go up 6, right 1, draw a line. There we go. For 15, you had to state the slope in the simplest form. And you could pick any points that you wanted. I would recommend points like this one and this one because they land directly on whole numbers. Do you see how these red dots are between numbers? They're going to mess you up a little bit. So I picked these two dots, and I noticed that it's a positive slope. So I went up first and then to the right. Specifically, I went up 1 and then right 5. My slope is 1/5. This one here is a negative slope. And I'm going to pick any 2 points. These are all landing on whole numbers, which is nice. Because it's a negative slope, I'm going to go down and then right. So it's -1 over 1, which is just -1. There's 2 numbers here, 50 and 200. One is your slope, one is your intercept. Because we are tracking how far away from a house we are, and we're getting closer, it's actually going to be a -50 t plus 200. So what are some clues? The 50 has the miles per hour. That's slope language. And the 200 miles is like your starting point, your initial distance. That's your clue that it's the y-intercept. Some people wrote that you'll arrive in 4 hours, which is true, but they ask you to write an equation. So this equation will let you know after any number of hours how far away you are from the house. After 0 hours, you're 200 miles away. After 4 hours, you're 0 miles away. You're there. We had $60 and 2%. Some people got lost on converting 2% into a decimal. That becomes 0.02. If you wrote 0.2, remember that that's the same as 20%. And we wanted 2%. So the $60 is guaranteed, and the 2% changes. That's how we know that we write our equation like this, 0.02x plus 60. The 60 is no matter what. The 2% changes depending on the sales. That's what makes it your slope.